It's my passion to find a way to stay in the business while I was doing my master's degree, and got an opportunity to do that, and then joined Mazda. Those who know, I was at Mazda for 17 years and had the opportunity to be part of the motorsports program there. And then Mr. Franz called and asked me to have this opportunity. So just a fellow racer, that's it. And encourage everybody to continue to follow the passion. GTP is really an exciting opportunity for us to sort of go back to our future, I would say. I grew up going to Road America and Mid-Ohio and Brainerd and Columbus Street Circuit, watching what we thought at the time was the heyday of endurance sports car racing. Anybody who's on the pre-grid today, I think we're maybe on the eve or right in the midst of, again, the heyday of our sport. We announced here in January of 2020 that there would be a converged set of technical regulations for the next generation prototype. And frankly, in our industry, those of us who are inside baseball, and I consider all of you inside baseball, we end up talking to ourselves a lot. And we end up making things really complicated for the outsiders. We all might get it, but the outsiders who don't understand what sports car racing is or what endurance sports car racing is might not understand. And so as we thought about the name LMDh, which was the LM for Le Mans, the D for Daytona, and for us the H was the hybrid system that would be common in all the cars. And we used that name the last couple of years, and it just felt clumsy, candidly. And once again, we're changing the name of the top category, confusing a bunch of people that don't know anything about what we do, and even some people that are super loyal. Steven's got to try to write about stuff like that. And again, we tend to confuse ourselves. So I thought a lot about it, and because I was such a fan of it, and a bunch of my buddies, Steven being one of them, Marshall Pruitt, a bunch of us grew up in that era of GTP racing when all the manufacturers were there, and had an opportunity at Petit Le Mans back in November to sit down with Mr. Franz and said, what if we went back to our past? And Grand Touring Prototype was the real moniker. And in the early 80s, Corvette came with a GTP car, Porsche had the 962s, and they had design cues from their brand incorporated in the car. That's what we're doing today, on steroids. It's the cars here in DPI are the step, but the cars that are going to be in GTP are spectacular. And I've had the chance to see a lot of those designs, one of them in the wind tunnel, and they're stunningly beautiful race cars. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to allow the manufacturers to put their brand touch on these prototype race cars. And for the audience, we have GT Prototype, we have GT Daytona Pro, and GTD. So my hope is that as a micro community, we can explain what we're doing here to the macro community, the larger community, in a much simpler fashion. And that's really it. And manufacturers are excited about it. The last several years, the design departments, the same designers that are designing road cars, are designing these race cars. And I had the opportunity to do it in a DPI program when I was at Mazda. And you walk into a design studio at an automaker, and you tell the designers that they have the opportunity to design the next race car. It's like telling a room of first and second graders to draw a picture of a rocket to go to the moon. Like, that's how excited these people got. And I'm just thrilled for the sport that we can take it back, that we can simplify it. Hopefully you and all of us can help tell the story and spread the word about how exciting it is what we do. So thanks again for having me.